lowering or eliminating their pain. So I'm sending my personal friends and radio listeners to ReliefFactor.com to order the 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's ReliefFactor.com.
A CNN original series.
Stop doubting and believe.
An epic saga from the dawn of history.
Behold, the man.
A miraculous journey that changed the world.
I will lay down my life for you. Whoever lives by believing in me will never die.
The greatest story ever told.
I believe you are the Son of God.
Finding Jesus. New season starts Sunday at 9 Eastern and Pacific on CNN.
660 AM The Answer. 660 AMTheAnswer.com. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. If you have a child in the Fort Worth Independent School District, your child goes to school being run by a school board and administrators who just flat ignore federal law. Is that what you want your kids to learn? 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. Here is the resolution. The Fort Worth Independent School District will strive to create the safest possible environments for its student and employees, providing them the foundation needed to learn, thrive, seek assistance and information, and reach each child's potential in an education-focused environment free of insecurity and fear for all its employees, students, and their families, regardless of their immigration status. The magic words are the ones at the end, regardless of immigration status. That's what turns it into a bit of political theater. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This is unacceptable in any way, shape, or form. Any way, shape, or form. Dr. Kent Scribner is at the end of he's right in the middle of this again. This guy is a leftist, progressive politician masquerading as a superintendent. I'm going to run for the school board in Fort Worth, Texas. Please vote for me when you see my name on a ballot. And I will do my absolute dead level best to get a school superintendent that believes that federal law in the United States is worth following. And that's simply the case. That's simply not the case with Dr. Scribner. 866-660-5759. Tony in Fort Worth, welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I think the law should be enforced at school or outside school. This is the law. Also, I have a comment about the illegal immigrants, especially whom they have birth for the children in America. Where and how they pay for the hospitals. They're illegal. They don't have money. They go to the hospital and they do the birth in hospitals and leave.
Yes.
Who paid for them hospitals?
The rest of us.
Yeah, the rest of us.
The rest of us.
So I believe we should enforce the law in school, hospitals, anywhere.
Yeah, I agree too. Tony, how you feeling?
I'm surviving. I think I beat the cancer, hopefully.
Yes.
And I am breathing.
That is awesome, my friend. That is awesome.
It is. It's a blessing from the Lord that we discovered this cancer by coincidence, and we beat it, hopefully.
I am so glad. I will continue praying for your good health, sir.
Thank you, and God bless you, sir.
God bless you. God bless you. One of the great listeners of the Wells Report, Tony. Been a little under the weather, as you just heard, and looks like he's on the backside of that. Yes. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. My friends, this is a test. This is a test for all of us. These kinds of things that are erosions to our American culture and society. These are direct challenges to the way we live and the way we choose to live. These kinds of things are illegal. They're also disingenuous and not just irresponsible, but dishonest. The Fort Worth Independent School District could no more stop an Immigrations and Customs Enforcement detail coming in to pick up kids that are illegally attending school in Fort Worth Independent School District. But you know why this is happening? Do you have any idea why this is actually occurring? It's not nobility, believe me. I'll explain next. You're listening to the Wells Report.
I want to tell you about Charles Parrish. Every day, people call Charles with real estate they want to sell. When Charles makes an offer to purchase your real estate, there are no commissions or settlement costs, and he pays all cash. If you have real estate to sell, city or county, commercial or residential, raw land or non-conforming, virtually any kind of real estate, Charles wants to make an offer. A family business for over 40 years, his goal is to make a small profit. He's a principal buyer with a reputation for honesty and fair prices. Call Charles today about your property. Log on to charlesparish.com. That's spelled P-A-R-R-I-S-H, Parrish with 2 R's. Or call Charles Parrish at 1-866-474-7000. Get rid of real estate you don't want and get the cash you need. Call Charles Parrish today with details of your real estate. 1-866-474-7000.
For 37 years, Abrams Royal Pharmacy has helped many people improve their health. Working as a trusted partner with physicians and patients, we have developed targeted treatment plans and customized wellness programs to meet each patient's unique needs and providing proactive solutions for health and wellness. Abrams Royal Pharmacy has grown to become one of the largest, most innovative, and trusted pharmacies in the U.S. because we spend time listening to our patients and offering wellness consultations with our natural-minded pharmacists. Abrams Royal Pharmacy is located at 8220 Abrams Road in Dallas and 4909 West Park Boulevard in Plano. For more information or to schedule a wellness appointment with natural-minded pharmacist Lark Swafford or Cody Trish, call 214-349-8000 or visit arp-rx.com. That's 214-349-8000 or arp-rx.com. Get healthy, stay healthy, naturally with Abrams Royal Pharmacy. Call 214-349-8000 or visit arp-rx.com.
Hey everybody, Mark Davis for my friends at Sleep Experts. How would you like a king for a queen? Look at this sale from all the Sleep Experts locations. Save up to $600 on top name brands. Even get a king for the price of a queen. Now's the time to buy Tempur-Pedic during Sleep Experts Tempur-Pedic closeout event. They're closing out all inventory floor samples, bringing you the latest in sleep technology. Up to $300 bonus cash on Tempur-Pedic. Good toward a choice of free pillow, protector, bed frame, even up to 3 years of interest-free financing. For details on that, 866-780-6220, subject to credit approval. Consumer Choice Award winner 11 years in a row. The expert match technology of mattress you lay on to show you which the best ones in the store are for you. It is Sleep Experts, the king for a queen sale. Check them out, sleepexperts.com, sleepexperts.com for more details and to find a Sleep Experts near you. Lisa and I have been customers for a long time. We love them. You will too. Sleep Experts, the king for a queen sale, sleepexperts.com.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Text the word TRIAL to 303030 and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. Now here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text TRIAL to 303030 and get started for free right now. Again, text TRIAL to 303030.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. People always ask me, we got Trump elected. What else can we do to move a conservative agenda downfield? The answer is fight the left with our cell phones. Switch to Patriot Mobile, the nation's only conservative cell phone company, and a portion of the monthly proceeds goes to the conservative organization of your choice. 1-800-A-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/Mark. to get started. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you'll support great conservative groups on the front lines of defending the Second Amendment, preserving the right to life, pushing full Obamacare repeal. If you're like me, tired of spending your hard-earned money with causes on the left that fund those agendas, it's time to switch to Patriot Mobile. They'll buy you out of your current contract with credits up to $500. 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Now switch to Patriot Mobile to waive the activation fee with the promo code MARK. Keep your same phone number. Get great nationwide coverage. 1-800-A-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/mark. 1-800-A-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/mark. Patriot Mobile.
660 AM, The Answer. Now, more of the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. The Fort Worth Independent School District Board of Trustees are untrustworthy. They have conspired to ignore federal law. Not only that, they're dishonest. They're trying to transmit to the parents of illegal children in the school district that they are somehow safe and welcomed at Fort Worth schools. I'm sure that most of those parents believe their kids are safe and welcomed. But then things get dangerously askew when the Fort Worth Independent School District somehow says that regardless of immigration status, what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, hey, look, your kids are going to be safe as long as they're at school. So keep sending your kids to school. And then we get to the dirty little secret about the whole thing. You see, have you ever wondered why it is that attendance is so very important when it comes to schools? It's because the federal government pays money to the schools and the school districts for each child. They're not picky about immigration status in that program either. As long as there's a child there, they get paid. When there's no child there, they don't get paid. So what they've come up with is they've come up with this political weasel word language. And they've come up with the Texas version of a corrupt mainstream media to say, your kids will be okay as long as they're at school. Which is crap. There's no protection intrinsic in this. There's nothing legal in this except, of course, that you could use it as a first-class piece of circumstantial evidence in a conspiracy trial. But what it is, regardless of any of that, what it is it's throwing down the gauntlet to American citizens in Dallas, in the Fort Worth area. Throwing the gauntlet right at their feet, say, do something about this. Well, we may just do that. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just say the school board of trustees, quote unquote, is not anywhere close to being trustworthy. In fact, they are untrustworthy. They are trying out criminality for effect. That's the way I see it. Let me get to Daniel in Dallas. Daniel, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report.
How you doing, Mr. Wells? I'm sorry, I always call you that, but it's one of those things. I'm 27 and I don't have kids yet, but I wouldn't be okay with that. I mean, in 6 months, I'm taking the exam for the police department. The law is the law. If you're an illegal alien, because they're not immigrants unless they've had some sort of immigrant status yet, so they're not protected under the Constitution. So you're here legally. You are breaking the law by being here. Your children are too, frankly.
Yes.
And I mean, with my sense of justice, it's one of those. This is a black or white thing. This is you're either here legally or you're not.
Yeah, there's no. This is very simple. If you are here legally, just settle down, cuddle up, get out there and have your kids learn by all means. If you're here legally, come on. But if you're here illegally, nobody's going to go out of their way to, essentially upset the apple cart, I'm reasonably sure, unless, of course, the Fort Worth ISD stands up there, grandstands, and flouts American law, in which case what should happen is that ICE should appear at any Fort Worth Independent School District school immediately and start taking kids that don't belong there. That's what they should do immediately. This is absolutely ridiculous. 866-660-5759. Cullen in Plano, welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Good evening. I grew up in Fort Worth as a boy up until I had to move to Dallas for junior high school. My suggestion is a two-pronged attack by American taxpayers who have their children enrolled in the Fort Worth ISD. First of all, they need to initiate a recall election for all those school board officials. And secondly, I think they need to do a week-long boycott since it's all about the money.
It is. It is. Just keep your kids at home. I mean, the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. Of course, I can't say keep your kids at home and then stand and say, okay, these people are violating the law. This is very carefully thought out. This is why they call it political science. This is nuts. How dare these elected people flout American law? They are serving people here who are not American nationals. They are foreign nationals with their children, and they are going out of their way to protect them. Anybody within the sound of my voice got a kid in Fort Worth Independent School District that's been bullied this year? Are they American citizens? Is that why? See, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely insane. This is what happens when you elect the wrong people. This is what happens when you elect people that damage the country. It is absolutely ridiculous in every way, shape, and form. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. Are you ready to get involved yet? If you're ready to get involved, I have a great way for you to do it. You want to know what it is? Joining us is Ms. Lisa Hendrickson. She is the Denton County GOP chair. She is the person that is overseeing the Lincoln Reagan dinner at Denton County. She joins us because this is a very close event. It's at the Airport Regency Dallas at 2334 North International Parkway, DFW Airport, Texas. You get to go there between 6 and 10 p.m. and enjoy lots of really cool people coming to talk to you. Lisa, welcome to the Wells Report. How's everything going for the Denton County Lincoln Reagan dinner?
It is going fast and furious. We're almost sold out, so we're thrilled.
That's awesome. So almost sold out. So that is our immediate goal, is to finish getting it sold out. Is that right?
That's a fabulous goal. We are, I can tell you that people in Denton County are pumped up, fired up, especially after President Trump's speech last night. I think he did a smashing job. People are even more fired up that we had the left decide that they were not going to stand and applaud even jobs, even, making sure that radical Islamic terrorism is not tolerated. They didn't even stand for that. So,
well, it was even worse. It was even worse than that. They did not stand up when Donald Trump brought up Chief Owens, who gave his life as a U.S. Navy SEAL. They sat on their hands. They did not stand up for that. I couldn't believe it.
Absolutely deplorable, if I can use one of their words.
I think that's a perfect word, actually. I think it's just perfect. So talk to us a little bit about the Lincoln Reagan dinner. From what I understand, Rick Santorum is going to be the keynote speaker. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have doors open a little after 6. Dinner will start at 7:15. We have a fantastic lineup. We have Senator Santorum coming to speak to us. Jackie Daly with the Daily Show, Jackie Daly Show out of the Blaze will be, we're going to do a little different this time around. We're going to do it for those of us that have attended CPAC, where you have that panel interview setting. So Jackie will interview the senator, and there'll be a nice dialogue. We may even open it up from questions from the audience. And Diamond and Silk for all those social media, Facebook
Yes.
people are there to definitely liven us up and fire up the Trump train. And then Chuck Norris. So we're ecstatic with the lineup that we have for tomorrow night.
It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. If people want to get their tickets, where do they go and what do they do?
They go to DentonGOP.org, DentonGOP.org, and we will shut off tickets tomorrow at about 1 o'clock. And we are, yes, sir, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm sorry, I should have specified that. So at 1 o'clock tomorrow, we're really close to being sold out, and we want to make sure that the Hyatt has all the numbers they need to make sure that this is an absolutely stellar black tie event.
Oh, that's going to be so cool. Black tie is good. I'm glad to hear that. So once again, that's this Saturday, March 4th between 6 and 10, the Airport Hyatt Regency Dallas. That's on the campus of DFW Airport. You can find it there. It's a nice place. I've been there. I've been to the Lincoln Reagan dinner for Denton County several times and enjoyed it every single time, Lisa.
Well, you are welcome once again. We'd love to put you with Diamond and Silk. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. That would be absolutely fun. But what do you have against them? Anyway, so now one of the cool things about this is the auction.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the live auction items that we have are phenomenal. The Lieutenant Governor Patrick has donated some more than experience. I think are the things that we're going for this year. A copy of the open carry law, a copy of the Sanctuary Cities band law, the David Bowie knife. You actually get the flag flown over the Alamo last year on the anniversary. I'm sorry, I just said David Bowie. Oh my gosh, a Bowie knife. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so Frenchie, everybody's. I'm a child of the 80s. Can you tell?
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, the fame got to
you. Frenchie from, if you know Frenchie, that's priceless. Frenchie, we're going to auction off a day with Frenchie tailgating at the Cowboys game, front row seats. So
nice.
It is Texas Motor Speedway. Lots of amazing opportunities for people to have to take something away that will literally be an experience that they will remember for the rest of their lives.
That's fantastic.
We're excited.
That is outstanding. Go to GOP.org. That's DentonGOP.org. Click on the Lincoln Reagan dinner icon at the top of the page, and you will find yourself hanging out with one of my very serious friends. I mean, I'm surprised that I can actually say this, but Rick Santorum is one of my friends, and you will find out just how brilliant this guy is. On the night of the Lincoln Reagan dinner, Denton County GOP chairman, Denton County GOP is putting this on, and you will absolutely adore it. So go have some fun. Remember, it's black tie, so you got to have black tie at the Airport Hyatt Regency. So do that. Okay.
Well, hopefully they wear a little bit more than a black tie, though. Okay?
No, just wear a black tie. That's all you need. If the tie's big enough, that is. Anyway, Lisa Hendrickson, thank you so much for all that you do for us, and we sincerely appreciate you dropping by and telling us about this incredible event.
Thank you, sir. You guys have a great night.
You too. Take good care. By the way, we'll have all of this information up on the Wells Report page of 660amtheanswer.com. If you cannot remember DentonGOP.org, go to 660amtheanswer.com, and you can accomplish the very exact same thing like that there. Okay? Sound good? All right. My friends, we are in a tough spot. We are in a tough situation. The Fort Worth ISD has decided to jump into the liberal politics game. I don't necessarily agree with politics in the schoolyard. I don't agree with using the schoolyard as a political tool. I don't believe in using students as political tools either. But don't be misled by any of this. All this is an opportunity for the Fort Worth Independent School District to keep illegal kids coming to school so that they will continue to get paid for illegal kids coming to school. That's all this is. Since Donald Trump has been in office, obviously, people are worried about their kids and keeping them out of school. And so the Fort Worth ISD's passed this thing in order to keep the money coming in. That's all this is. But what does it mean? It means that the Fort Worth School District is perfectly willing, absolutely perfectly willing, to flout American law, federal law, in fact, to flout American law for the benefit of politics. And, oh, by the way, go out of their way to serve the illegal alien community more than American citizens. It's inexcusable. You're listening to the Wells Report.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Well, it's that time of year again. The AC business is slow, so here come the crazy gimmicks. Right now, you'll hear the warehouse clearance guy, the free furnace guy, and my personal favorite, the guy who says he'll work for no profit. Because come on, that's just ridiculous. Well, guess who's not going to insult your intelligence with silly gimmicks? Reliant Air Conditioning. We've partnered with your utility provider to offer real instant rebates, up to $1,500 off qualifying systems. When you combine that with up to $3,500 off with Carrier's Cool Cash, you can save over $5,000 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. So call the crazy gimmick guys and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Ever had buyer's regret? A pair of shoes you didn't really need? Electronics obsolete before you even plug them in? Or tens of thousands of dollars of timeshare regret? That's what you get when you're stuck with a timeshare agreement you don't want anymore. We're the timeshare exit attorneys, the leaders in helping folks get out of timeshares and erasing regret. See if you qualify. For valuable free information, call 1-800-500-1967. Maybe you made an impulse buy that has become a financial burden you can no longer afford. Maybe you don't use the timeshare enough to make it worthwhile. Maybe you were pressured by a timeshare salesperson into making a bad decision. Now you want out because your timeshare isn't a fun escape, it's a waste of your money. With decades of experience, we're your #1 trusted option with fast, professional service. No middlemen, no cutting corners, no more timeshare regret. See if you qualify. For valuable free information, call 1-800-500-1967. That's 1-800-500-1967.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head dealing with monthly payments, there's a powerful secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt and make your monthly payment affordable. To see how much you could save, call now, 1-800-700-3515. Don't declare bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Credit Associates. Live better debt-free. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Credit Associates now and see how much money you could save for free. Call 1-800-700-3515. That's 1-800-700-3515.
Who's there?
Falling off.
Falling off who?
Falling off pain patch.
What?
Don't be fooled by the knock-knocks. Get the relief you deserve with Blue Emu's Lidocare pain relief patches. Our narcotic-free, maximum strength adhesion formula with dry technology won't have you worrying about a corny knock-knock joke anymore. Because pain is no joke. Find us at CVS, Walgreens, and Amazon.
Compassion International presents The Rock and Worship Roadshow featuring Stephen Curtis Chapman. Sunday, March 26th, 6 p.m. at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, along with Francesca Battistelli, Ren Collective, Passion, Family Force 5, Jordan Feliz, and the Roadshow's pre-show party with Derek Minor and Urban Rescue. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com and the AAC box office. Welcomed by 94.9 KLTY. More info at theroadshowtour.com.
At Simple Sleep Services, our team of doctors are experts in providing the least invasive treatment for snoring and sleep apnea. A custom-fit, comfortable solution that you simply pop in before bed each night and wake up feeling refreshed. And it's covered by medical insurance. We are the most experienced team in the nation providing our treatment, and your diagnosis will be from a board-certified sleep physician using today's latest technology. Visit simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700. No CPAP, no surgery, no implants, just simple sleep.
It's time to honor our veterans with the Patriot Mobile Veteran of the Month. 660 AM The Answer joins with Patriot Mobile to spotlight a veteran each month. If you know a veteran who deserves such an honor, then go to 660amtheanswer.com and nominate them to be Patriot Mobile Veteran of the Month. Winners will receive a Crossroads Diner gift certificate and an award from Patriot Mobile. Plus, they'll have an opportunity to come to the studios to meet Mark Davis and John David Wells. Go to 660amtheanswer.com to nominate your veteran. That's the Patriot Mobile Veteran of the Month.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AMTheAnswer.com. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. His name is Jason. Jason, thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hey, what an honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it is a privilege to have you here, Jason.
Thank you. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. Went to school here, and I just think this is about the money. I'm 100% sure of it, and I know how to prove it. We do an E-Verify. People for business, when they want to work here, they got to go through that system, or they're supposed to. Do the same thing in the schools. If they don't verify, they don't get paid.
I understand, and this is awful. This is just an entire school district. And the thing about it is the word trustee is in the name of what they do. How can you be a public trustee of any kind when you flout American law?
You've said it earlier. It's just electing the wrong people.
That is exactly what it is. We elect the wrong people. We have to do better. We have to do better. And we have to remember when people of this stature, not meant to be a compliment, by the way, when people of this stature, see fit to turn an entire school district into a personal political tool, I'm sorry, that's where I draw the line. Jason, thanks for your phone call. I sincerely appreciate it. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Hi, everybody. Dennis Gibbs here. You know, the boat guy. Talking about boats, boating, lakes, marinas, and, well, if it floats, we talk about it. The advice we give is the best you will ever hear. They call it expert advice. Between myself, Boating Royalty, Lake Level Ginger, and Brother Strick, you hear only intelligent talk. Join us every Saturday at 6 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer, the Big Boat and Outdoor Show brought to you by DallasBoatsForSale.com.
What if you could have an experience of a lifetime this year, something that goes beyond the mundane and gives you a unique perspective, not a vacation, an opportunity to change your life? I'm Mike Gallagher here. A timely and important expedition to the Holy Land of Israel awaits you. Make plans now for the Stand With Israel tour happening this fall. Join me on a 9-day trip to Israel that will offer you first-hand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. We'll introduce you to the geopolitical, economic, and security dynamics of a truly remarkable place. Get a behind-the-scenes view into many of the places you've read and heard about all your life, all during Jerusalem's 50th anniversary, the Western Wall, Jerusalem, the Dead Sea, and so much more, with expert guides, important lectures at key sites, all in the comfort and safety of first-class accommodations. Look forward to something special this year. Stand With Israel for the details about this all-inclusive trip happening October 22nd through November the 1st.
Look forward to something special this year. Stand With Israel. For details about this all-inclusive trip happening this fall, visit 660amtheanswer.com. Hey, everybody, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Climate Evangelista Eye Center. We all get older, and when that happens, the visual acuity tends to decline.
It's called over 40 vision, but you might be 42. Heck, you might be 52 and you're still seeing fine. Well, good for you. For most folks, though, it's coming. They're coming. Reading glasses. If you've been living that life for a while and you're just sick of it, let me send you to Climate Evangelista Eye Center, 1-800-714-2020. 1-800-714-2020, and a special website for those looking to get rid of readers. It is called ridofreaders.com. How genius is that? Ridofreaders.com. Learn about all the vision correction procedures they have at Climate Evangelista. Restrictions may apply. Contact Climate Evangelista for full details. But here's the deal. Great prices, great financing plans. Learn how to get rid of the reading glasses. 1-800-714-2020. 1-800-714-2020. Arlington, Dallas, Plano, or ridofreaders.com.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jane Metzler. Attorney General Jeff Sessions had two conversations with Russia's ambassador during the presidential campaign last year. He failed to disclose either during his confirmation hearings. A Justice Department spokeswoman denies Sessions was misleading. One conversation took place in Sessions' Senate office in September. U.S. intelligence officials call that the height of Russia's cyber campaign to influence the U.S. election. Vice President Pence insisting
we're going to hold Russia accountable for an ending violence in eastern Ukraine. But in the same breath, our president continues to believe that if there is a way that we can find common ground with Russia, particularly in the fight against ISIS, he's determined to pursue that.
Fox News, we report, you decide.
660 AM, The Answer.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
Hey, if you need to sell your home without all the headaches most people experience, hey, Sean Hannity here to tell you that after years of buying, selling, investing millions of dollars in real estate, that all real estate agents do not operate the same way. Now, what makes the difference between a home selling fast and for top dollar and one that sits on the market for months and doesn't even sell at all? Well, you have a great American right in your backyard that I trust if I needed to sell my home. I'm talking about Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. Now, he services the entire Dallas area, attracts hundreds of buyers every week. He sells a home on average every 20 hours. Now, Josh spends thousands of dollars every month and creates demand for your home, which makes it sell faster and for more money. Now, you risk nothing since at any point, if you're not happy, well, you can get out of the contract free and clear and pay nothing. But trust me, that's not going to happen. Don't play games with your home. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644. That's 972-325-6644 or online, getsold.net. That's getsold.net. And you can start packing.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Well, it's that time of year again. The AC business is slow, so here come the crazy gimmicks. Right now, you'll hear the warehouse clearance guy, the free furnace guy, and my personal favorite, the guy who says he'll work for no profit. Because come on, that's just ridiculous. Well, guess who's not going to insult your intelligence with silly gimmicks? Reliant Air Conditioning. We've partnered with your utility provider to offer real instant rebates, up to $1,500 off qualifying systems. When you combine that with up to $3,500 off with Carrier's Cool Cash, you can save over $5,000 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. So call the crazy gimmick guys and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab I've seen the immune response increase. I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And I know that it works.
Balance of Nature is providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code 660AM.
And now I will tell you about something medically that works. How was that for an intro? I'm about to say it because I never really thought I would. I took Relief Factor as the first pain reliever I would ever endorse because of how it worked for my wife and my colleague Hugh Hewitt. Well, now I can tell you that this thing is just short of some sort of miracle. See, I had an ongoing pain, not terrible, just a pain. I simply assumed I would just live with it. Then I got some knee pain as a result of some of my workouts. So I decided I would take it for the knee pain. And now both are gone. That's why I think of this as sort of a miracle drug. ReliefFactor.com. All I ask is that you visit their website and then you decide whether or not you try it out. Clearly, it can't help everybody. There is no such thing. But it certainly helps a lot of people. And now I can include me as one of them. So go to ReliefFactor.com.
A reminder, we have a free Money Matters Retirement Seminar, 7 p.m. Tuesday, March 7th, Hilton Garden Inn, Fort Worth Medical District, or Thursday, March 9th in the Money Matters Building, Plano. Find out if you have enough money to retire on. Learn what you can do to build a solid financial plan for your retirement cash flow. The best time to take Social Security. 5 strategies to help you save on income taxes. How to help make your savings last, and more. Reserve at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net. Or call 800-994-0302. Again, 800-994-0302.
A CNN original series. Stop doubting and believe. An epic saga from the dawn of history. Behold, the man. A miraculous journey that changed the world. I will lay down my life for you. Whoever lives by believing in me will never die. The greatest story ever told.
I believe you are the Son of God.
Finding Jesus. New season starts Sunday at 9 Eastern and Pacific on CNN.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Still boiling over that Fort Worth Independent School District mess. We simply cannot allow our supposed public servants to operate in violation of American law. We just can't. We just can't do that. I wanted to bring you up to date on some things. It's been very, very busy nationally. But as you have noticed, the Wells Report is getting back to doing what we do best, which is, by the way, talking about our lives. Not just the lives of Washington politicians, but our lives here in Texas. That's what this show is supposed to be all about. But as you know, the last year has been somewhat busy from a standpoint of national politics. Perhaps you've heard. Make no mistake, we're going to talk about President Trump and all the things that he does, just like we've been doing. But there are other things that also demand our attention. Like, for example, yesterday, you may not have heard this, Texas took the first step in joining a growing national movement to amend the U.S. Constitution, wresting power from the federal government and giving it back to the states. The Senate approved a package of bills that would put Texas among a small group of states, calling for an Article 25 convention of states to amend the U.S. Constitution. This convention that we're trying to call is about rebalancing state authority, said Senator Brian Birdwell of Granbury, author of 2 of the bills. One measure would repeal all but one of the 14 existing resolutions state lawmakers have approved since 1899. that also call for a convention of the states. Another measure outlines how delegates to such a convention would be chosen and the rules they would operate under. The third measure would allow Texas to become one of 34 states needed to force Congress to initiate a convention of states to modify the U.S. Constitution. Governor Greg Abbott has made the Convention of States an emergency item for the current legislative sessions. He has been promoting the idea of a convention since 2016. The states, he says, must rein in federal government that has run amok. He praised the Senate yesterday. Our nation is succumbing to the caprice of man that our founders fought to escape. And I'm encouraged that the Texas Senate has taken the first step in joining other states from around the country in reversing that trend. Last year, Governor Abbott released a detailed plan for a convention outlining 9 proposals, constitutional amendments that he said should and would unravel the federal government's decades-long power grab and restore authority over economic regulation and other matters to the states. Among the amendments Governor Abbott suggested are requiring the Congress to balance the budget, prohibiting Congress from regulating state activities, and allowing a 2/3 majority of the states to override U.S. Supreme Court decisions. Under the measure the Senate approved yesterday, Texas delegates to a convention would only be allowed to discuss changes to the Constitution that would implement fiscal restraint on the federal government, limit the power of the federal government, and institute term limits for members of Congress. A convention is one of 2 ways the U.S. Constitution can be amended. It's described in Article 5. One way is the Congress can propose amendments approved by 2/3 of the members of both chambers. Another method allows 2/3 of the state legislatures to call for a convention to propose amendments. Republicans who back the idea are confident that because they control state governments in a majority of states, their ideas would prevail. In both cases, amendments become effective only if ratified by 38 states. So far, the U.S. Constitution has been amended 27 times. None of those were amendments generated by a convention of states. Efforts to change the Constitution, initiated by both conservative and liberal advocates, have bounced in and out of political popularity since the 70s. None, however, have met with success. That's actually not true. I believe it was in the 60s when a constitutional amendment was passed that allowed 18-year-olds who were being drafted into war for Vietnam, it allowed them to vote. Old enough to fight, old enough to vote. And that went through very, very quickly. The elections last year swept 33 Republican governors into office across the nation, which supporters see as a hopeful sign for a movement to amend the Constitution. Supporters also point to President Donald Trump, who has said he supports congressional term limits, a key issue for conventioners. Lawmakers in Texas tried in 2015 to pass a measure calling for a convention of states. The bill passed in the House but failed in the Senate. So far, it's now passed in the Senate. Will it make it through the House? When Joe Strauss is running the show, you just don't know, do you? Because such a convention has never happened, the Constitution has few rules to govern the procedure. Opponents of the effort worry that it could easily spiral out of control. They are concerned that the agenda could grow from a limited number of subject items to a massive number of constitutional changes that could undermine the foundations of American government. You might just create one big mess for this state and this nation, said Senator John Whitmire of Houston. To address those concerns, Senator Brian Hughes of Mineola, he's a Republican, proposed a change to the bill that would impose criminal penalties that could mean thousands in fines and years in jail for delegates who fail to abide by the limits lawmakers approved on subjects for the convention. So here's what we need to do. We need to decide whether or not we want to move forward with this. So do you? Do we want to do this? 866-660-5759. An Article 5 Convention of the States. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Do you believe that it's possible that an Article 5 Convention of the States would spiral out of control? Is that something you're concerned about? I will tell you it is something that I'm concerned about. And I want to know whether or not you think we ought to pursue this or whether or not we ought to stop it. Look, I think there ought to be a constitutional amendment in the Constitution of the United States mandating a balanced budget. It is ridiculous that we don't have one. I am less happy about some of the other things. I don't believe that, I believe that we need voters to decide when somebody should be removed from office. I'm very concerned about having so many lame ducks around every 2 years because bad damage can be done by those people. Eight 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. What do you think? You think we ought to continue to proceed with this? Should we admonish the House, the Texas House, to pass this too? Get this signed? Join this group of people, this group of states, to change the Constitution of the United States into something better? Or at least to add to it to try to make things make more sense? 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. They're moving forward here. This is the news. And I am concerned about it, as you might expect. I believe you could limit the actual debates and actual inactions, the actual actions of the convention into a pre-positioned slate of amendments that would be debated and voted on. I believe you can do that, and you do have to remember that none of these things you can only add to the Constitution. You can't take anything away, and nothing can actually take hold in the Constitution that isn't ratified by 2/3 of the states. 866-660-5759. Nick in Arlington, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hello. After you said those last few things, I'm all for it. It sounds like common sense, you know.
Well, give me an example of what you're talking about.
Well, to make term limits, that's a good idea. And then to make a budget, that's a good idea. I mean, sounds like they would do it for good stuff, but like you said, they might put it depends on who's in charge. So I guess, you know, it's like the nuclear, whatever they called it, with the 51 votes. The Democrats did that, and man, we're happy.
Well, I mean, it does work out to our favor, and it is something that is going to be used when necessary. It was a huge error. It was a gigantic mistake that they did that, Nick.
Right. I'm just saying we're using it. You know, I told lots of people I want Trump to get in office so he can be a jerk for me.
I like that, Nick. Thanks very much. Let me get to Jim in Denton. Jim in Denton, Texas. Thanks for joining us. Hi.
Hey, Dave, John David, how you doing? I think if we're going to have something like a convention of states, then they should only be able to address one subject at a time.
Well, they would only be able to, they'd have to have a list of possible amendments before the convention started. And they'd have to limit They'd have to limit the votes and the debate to those particular amendments. That's what would have to happen. And if you can do that, then yeah, you'd be all right. 866-660-5759, because anything that gets passed through the actual convention then has to be signed off on by a majority of the states, 2/3 majority, before it could become an actual amendment to the Constitution. See, I've been thinking about this. This is what happens when the federal government starts getting far afield of the Constitution. There are remedies that will certainly take effect. I mean, if there's an opportunity to be able to get on my horse and show up someplace and remind the federal government that it's we the people, not those the politicians, I'm all for it. But I would just rue the day, and so would everybody else, that the country changed dramatically insofar as we forgot to do something that was taken advantage of during an Article 5 convention of the states. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
I'm Ian Parrish. Do you have real estate that you want to sell? Is it an apartment building, a shopping center, waterfront property, or even a modest townhome? If you're not getting offers, it's not the market, and it's not your fault. More options are always better than fewer ones, and there may be options you haven't been given. Options that every seller has, but that most owners and agents don't understand. Let me tell you about my dad, Charles Parrish. He's licensed, bonded, insured, and A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. He's been buying property, auctioning real estate, and getting owners the money they need for 45 years. Let Charles make you an offer or give you a no-obligation consultation about all of your options. Call now to talk with Charles at 866-474-7000 or visit him at charlesparish.com. That's Parish with 2 R's. Call now, 866-474-7000.
I'm Charles Parrish. Call me and we'll talk about your property.
High-tech bath remodeling? You're kidding, right? No, I'm not kidding. Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzari, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling. You know, we remodel over 200 bathrooms a month, and our customers know the difference in what we do and what other companies don't. Problem for the old companies offering bath remodeling is they're doing it the same way they've done it forever. Is there anybody listening who thinks construction is not advanced in the last 10 years? Take it from me, after 22 years in business, I've seen many things change. From the substrate materials that eliminate leaks to the adhesives that are used to secure the products to the wall and foundation, and even the grout that's virtually mold and mildew proof. When you get a bath remodel from Statewide, this isn't the same one your mom and dad got back in the day. So why take a chance with the other guys who are doing it the old way? We offer a workmanship guarantee for as long as you own your home and a no-leak warranty that's the longest in the industry. And if you call now, you get 20% off. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. Call now.
If you're a business owner, I want you to imagine standing on home plate in front of a sold-out crowd of 50,000 raving fans at a professional baseball game. They give you the microphone and you have 60 seconds to tell the crowd why they should do business with you. Out of 50,000 people, do you think you might get some new customers? Sure you would. Now imagine you could do that in front of 4 sold-out baseball games. That's 200,000 people. Did you know that's how many people listen to 660 AM The Answer every week? And you have the opportunity to stand in front of the 660 AM The Answer microphone and get 60 seconds to tell our raving fans all about your business. Do you think you'd get new customers if you did that? You bet. The businesses you hear on 660 AM The Answer are knocking it out of the park with new customers. If you're open to seeing how much it costs to advertise your business on 660 AM The Answer, send an email request to advertise@ksky.com. That's advertise@ksky.com. Let's play ball.
Do you have low back or neck pain? Does it run down your arms or your legs? Do you have a bulging or herniated disc degeneration, or spinal arthritis? Even worse, have you been told you need back surgery or injections? If you answered yes, then please listen to what I have to say. My name is Dr. Chad Vines, DC, at Genesis Back and Neck, and I use the most advanced spinal decompression system available, the DRX 9000, to correct back problems just like yours. We don't use addictive drugs, and we don't use any type of dangerous invasive surgery for these problems. Spinal decompression is safe, FDA cleared, and it's not painful, and has about an 86% success rate. We accept most insurances, and your first visit will be at no charge. You will sit down and visit with me personally until I've answered all of your questions. And if you're a candidate for decompression, you can try out the treatment all at no charge to you. So if you're ready to not hurt anymore and don't want to have surgery, call me at 817-328-1922. That's 817-328-1922, or online at mylowback.com.
Do you have the next $1 million idea? Let Idea Shares help you with the early stages of ideation. You can test your idea, protect your idea, and most importantly, profit from your ideas. Whether your idea is digital, electrical, mechanical, intellectual, or a service-based business, test its relevancy with Idea Shares. We are the internet's most robust idea vetting machine. Your idea can change the world. Act now. Ideashares.com. The future is now. Ideashares.com.
It's time to honor our veterans with the Patriot Mobile Veteran of the Month. 660 AM The Answer joins with Patriot Mobile to spotlight a veteran each month. If you know a veteran who deserves such an honor, then go to 660amtheanswer.com and nominate them to be Patriot Mobile Veteran of the Month. Winners will receive a Crossroads Diner gift certificate and an award from Patriot Mobile. Plus, they'll have an opportunity to come to the studios to meet Mark Davis and John David Wells. Go to 660amtheanswer.com to nominate your veteran. That's the Patriot Mobile Veteran of the Month.
Saying I don't know is no longer acceptable. This is 660 AM, The Answer. You're hearing tomorrow's front page on the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. While we were listening to the president, we found ourselves in a position where the Texas Senate took the first step in growing a growing national movement to amend the U.S. Constitution in an effort to wrest power from the federal government and give it back to the states. The Senate approved a package of bills that would put Texas among a small group of states, calling for a convention of states convention to amend the U.S. Constitution. This convention that we're trying to call is about rebalancing state authority, said Senator Brian Birdwell. One measure would repeal all but one of the 14 existing regulations or resolutions Texas lawmakers have approved since 1899 that also called for a convention of the states. There would be about 9 issues that needed to be discussed, according to Governor Greg Abbott. Prohibit Congress from regulating activity that occurs wholly within one state. It's a good idea. This is why this is something the EPA does on a regular basis that is none of their dang business. I mean, it's like, seriously? Require Congress to balance its budget. If you have something to do with the budget process in the federal government, if you're in a situation where you have something to do with balancing the budget, if you fail to balance the budget, that's dangerously close to embezzlement. Because clearly that you would actually help pass a budget that was in deficit and add to a horse-choking gob of enormous federal debt. It's got to be, you can't be stupid enough to believe that that you have no intent on stealing from we the people of the United States. Prohibit Congress from regulating activities that occurs wholly in one state. What would that be? That would be like, how about a redfish catching tournament? No, we don't catch redfish here. What could we do? What would be something that we do wholly in this state and no place else? Drive cattle down the street. There you have it. We still do that. Anyway, you get the idea. All right. Require Congress to balance its budget. Prohibit administrative agencies from creating federal law. This is something that the EPA is famous for. Also something that the IRS is famous for. That suddenly this administrative agency, this executive branch agency, if it doesn't have a law that gives it enforcement power, it just makes one up out of whole cloth. Prohibit administrative agencies from preempting state law. That's a good thing too. That's a good thing too. There are a lot of others here that are very, very important. Okay, so we've gone through the first four or so. Prohibit Congress from regulating activity that occurs wholly in one state. Require Congress to balance its budget. Prohibit administrative agencies from creating federal law. And we'll get back to the other ones here in just a little bit. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. There are some great ideas here that I believe very much ought to be enacted so that the states do have the constitutional-based United States of America that we bargained for. This is the Wells Report. Back with more in a moment.
What if you could have an experience of a lifetime, and I mean it, a lifetime this year? Dennis Prager here, and a timely and important expedition to the land of Israel awaits you. Make plans now for the Stand with Israel tour happening this fall. Join me on a 9-day trip to Israel that offers you firsthand insight into Israel's unique past and probably unique future. We'll introduce you to the geopolitical, economic, and security dynamics of a truly remarkable nation. Get a behind-the-scenes view into many of the places you've read and heard about, all during United Jerusalem's 50th anniversary. The Western Wall, Jerusalem, the Dead Sea, Golan Heights, and much more. With expert guides and important lectures at key sites, all in the comfort and safety of first-class accommodations.
Look forward to something special this year. Stand with Israel. For details about this all-inclusive trip happening this fall, visit 660amtheanswer.com for all the details.
I used to play a lot of sports in college, but when I got older, my legs started to burn and ache, making it hard to work out. Then I noticed those varicose and spider veins. I couldn't believe it. I thought this only happened to my mom and her friends.
The professionals at Vein Clinics of America have performed over 1 million personalized procedures for their patients, making them the largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring your legs back to health in as little as 1 hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by insurance.
I called Vein Clinics of America, and they fixed my legs. No more ugly veins. Now I can run and do squats again.
Guys, get back in the game. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation with one of our doctors and learn how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call now. 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-827-5948 now. That's 800-827-5948 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-827-5948 to learn more. 800-827-5948. That's 800-827-5948. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Warning. If you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears because there's an alternative to bankruptcy and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now. 1-800-600-3018. That's 1-800-600-3018. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-600-3018. 1-800-600-3018. 1-800-600-3018.
I know I need to earn my MBA if I want to move up. I'm looking for an MBA that offers unique concentrations. I want an online MBA that's top-ranked, established. I care about the school's reputation because I know my future employers will too.
Thinking about earning your MBA? At Northeastern's DeMoore McKim School of Business, we offer a 100% online MBA with 8 concentrations that can help set you apart in today's competitive workforce.
To speak to an enrollment advisor, text INSPIRE to 37913.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay, open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shapes.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
660 AM. 660 AM. The Answer. 660 AM. TheAnswer.com. Isn't thinking so much more fun than getting yelled at? The Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. The Senate of Texas, the Texas Senate, took the first step in a growing national movement to amend the U.S. Constitution in an effort to wrest power from an overarching federal government that has lost its mind. There's no doubt about the fact the federal government has strayed far away from its founding documents, and a reminder is definitely overdue. There are 9 ideas put forward by Governor Greg Abbott that'll probably be the basis for this Article 5 convention, and I wouldn't surprise me to see this actually happen. Are you willing to support it? Let me get to Andy in Hazlitt. Andy, welcome to the Wells Report. Good to have you here.
Thank you, John David. I am very much in support of it.
Yes, sir.
I think there's 2 issues that we kind of lost control of. One, we don't have any recourse based off of a Supreme Court decision, and I think we need some way to counteract that. And Mark Levine's book deals with that. And secondly, I think that we ought to go back and elect state senators for the U.S. Senate the way it was originally set up. Because now they're all looking out for themselves.
Well, I don't know that anybody in public office won't be looking after themselves, Andy. And the other thing about that is that I don't know that I want less input on who holds public office. I don't know that I want less input from the people than we already have. I mean, if the 17th Amendment, which I believe is the amendment you're discussing, hadn't been passed and Texas senators would be appointed by the governor, then that takes one more opportunity for we, the people of Texas, to not have any control of our government. And I think that's counterproductive to what this whole project is all about. I have no problem whatsoever in electing senators. I think it's absolutely critical that we continue doing it. But when you're talking about the recourse from the Supreme Court of the United States, yes, that's a necessary check and balance that's missing in our current government. And this would take care of it. There would be an amendment that would allow a 2/3 majority of the states to override a U.S. Supreme Court decision. That is something that should happen. And then there's this. A 7-justice supermajority would have to stand in agreement to invalidate a democratically enacted law. As you know, across this land, there have been either Defense of Marriage Acts or Definition of Marriage Acts that were passed by overwhelming majorities of the people of the states, only to be set aside by judges functioning as political super legislatures. And that has got to stop. Absolutely has to stop. And those two, requiring a 7-judge supermajority to vote for Supreme Court law decisions that invalidate a democratically enacted law. And that would have to be, by the way, a vote of the people. I would change that to a vote of the people, not just a democratically enacted law, because that could also be somebody in a state government. No, these ought to be laws that are passed by the people. Because we need the capability to be able to get that done. Let's see. Restore the balance of power between the federal and state governments by limiting the former, the federal government, to the powers expressly delegated to it in the Constitution. This is actually a reaffirmation of the Constitution itself. In other words, there should not be any reason for us to do this. Now, the thing about this is that there are things the federal government does now that it did not do at its inception that I think should remain in place. There are certain things I don't think should go the way of all things because of this Article 5 Convention of the States. You know, I think the FBI is a good thing. You know, I think the CIA is a good thing. I think the NSA is a good thing. These would be rolled back into the War departments or into the services, and I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. 866-660-5759. Oh, holy God, it's Robin from North Dakota with Walleye on a Stick for everyone.
Good day, eh? How you doing, eh?
Good day. How you doing, eh?
It's a good day for walleye on a stick. That's
it is walleye on a stick, absolutely, and some cheese curds and beer.
Oh, yeah. That'd be good. No lutefisk, though.
Yeah, no lutefisk. Ugh.
Unless there's butter. Then it's all right.
What?
Unless there's butter, then it's all right.
Yeah, or ketchup. Or something that numbs your taste buds. Something.
Yeah, that too.
Ugh.
Hey, I've been here 5 years, and I've been working on trying to get the convention states going a little bit.
Yep.
And it's a good day to be a Texan.
Mm-hmm.
Now the House has got to do its part, and we'll be leading the way.
I think you're right. I'm trying to find out. I'm going to ask Vicky to find out how many states have already approved an Article 5 Convention of the States. I'm going to ask her to look that up, and I'll have that information for you.
And is there anything in there about term limits?
Yeah, there are. And thanks very much for getting me back on track. Well, that's a good one. Give state officials the power to sue in federal court when federal officials overstep their bounds. Again, that is something that should be there already. Allow a 2/3 majority of the states to override a federal law or regulation. Yeah, it's possible. Let's see. Prohibit Congress from regulating activity. You know what? In this original thing, I thought there were term limits, but there does not appear to be term limits in this. See, and I'm concerned about term limits. You know how I feel, Robin. I think that having lame duck politicians wreaking havoc in the American government, I think that's a bad thing. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. I think that since I've been on the air, Michael T. Flynn may have been exonerated for his conduct with the Russian government. Of course, that doesn't absolve him from lying to the Vice President of the United States, but I believe that the FBI has cleared him on that, so that'll help him out with his security clearances and so on and so on. 866-660-5759, and that's what happens when you have lame ducks. You know, the President Obama and his lackeys, you know, that are running this essentially an insurgent campaign against Donald Trump. Right? I mean, this is just inexcusable. But they keep leaving these booby traps behind. and it's not good. 866-660-5759. So in the Greg Abbott plan, there is no need to, or there is no amendment to impose term limits. I think the voters ought to do that themselves. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. What do you think about all this? Brandy Grissom is the Austin bureau chief for the Dallas Morning News. She works down in the People's Republic of Austin. Last year, Governor Greg Abbott decided to go all in on a crusade to change the U.S. Constitution. Texas, he said, must lead the charge in wresting power from a federal government gone amok. In January of 2016, he issued a 70-page plan for a convention of states to amend the Constitution. In May, he published an autobiography dedicated primarily to his belief the states should change the 226-year-old document. And in January, as lawmakers embarked on the 85th legislature, he declared the Convention of States to be an emergency issue, putting a resolution calling for one on the fast track to passage. This is Brandy Grissom, Austin bureau chief from the Dallas Morning News. Critics say the notion, long considered a fringe idea, could endanger freedoms guaranteed in the Constitution. Abbott's enthusiasm has left political observers wondering if perhaps he's looking to increase his national stature or establish a legacy. I think what he's trying to do is restore the United States of America. I think that's what we're trying to get done here. The federal government is far afield of the constitutional limits imposed on it. The government is trying to carve off a kind of conservative policy he can call his own. The governor is trying to do that, said Brandon Rottinghouse, University of Houston political science professor. Those suppositions may hold water, but experts say for the first time in decades, the Convention of States movement may stand a remote chance of becoming reality, thanks in part to the support of, here we go, mega-rich conservative donors who have given millions to Abbott and other Texas Republicans. It's a realistic policy or possibility. It's a realistic possibility. It's terrifying, but it's a realistic possibility, said Anthony Gutierrez, executive director of Common Cause Texas, a nonpartisan government accountability group that opposes the Convention of States movement. President Barack Obama may be gone, but Texas's GOP leaders are still going to try to block any federal mandate it thinks won't work for the Lone Star State, which, by the way, is what the United States of America is all about. Most of this work will be done at the statewide level by Attorney General Ken Paxton, who has several lawsuits pending against the feds, but lawmakers also want in on the action and have offered bills to block everything from federal gun rules to gay marriage. Under the package of bills the Senate approved, Texas would join 8 states that have formally submitted an application to Congress seeking a convention of states to impose limits on federal spending, enact term limits for federal lawmakers, and limit the power of the federal government. So the term limit thing is in there somewhere, but I just can't find it. Robin, there you go. If 34 states submit applications, Congress would be forced to call a convention. One of 2 ways the U.S. Constitution can be amended. The other is that Congress can propose amendments propose amendments approved by 2/3 of the members of both chambers. Governor Abbott first announced his new policy or political mission during his speech at the Texas Public Policy Foundation in Austin. By the way, Midland oil man Tim Dunn serves as vice chairman of the board. Obviously, this is the 1%ers trying to do stupid, dastardly things to return power to the states instead of the federal government. Wow. Jeez. The project is primary focus of Citizens for Self-Governance, another nonprofit that includes some people with money. Yeah, okay. Mark Meckler, president of the Convention of States Project, said that he had learned the governor's fervor for the convention during that speech and offered his organization's help. So, the Convention of States Project is a nonprofit that launched in 2013 to gin up support nationwide for a convention that would limit federal power. The project is the primary focus of Citizens for Self-Governance. That is a nonprofit that includes Mr. Tim Dunn on its board of directors. Dunn, both individually and through Empower Texans, a political action committee that's primarily funded by him, has contributed more than $5 million to far-right Texas Republicans since 2010, this according to campaign finance records. Dunn donated $30,000 to Abbott. And there's more. So what do you think? Time for us to rewrite our own Constitution? Mull that over, will you? 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. You are listening to the Wells Report. John David Wells at your service. Back with more in just a moment.
Everyone has at least one great idea. Learn what to do with it and how to do it by listening to Idea Shares Radio every Sunday at 8 p.m. Idea Shares Radio is the show for entrepreneurs, inventors, and innovators. Your co-hosts, Brian Church, CEO and best-selling author, and Les Stouter, entrepreneur and business expert, will help take your ideas from a napkin sketch to the marketplace and teach you how to protect your intellectual property. So tune in for Idea Shares every Sunday at 8 p.m. right here on 660 AM. The Answer.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
Ever had buyer's regret? A pair of shoes you didn't really need? Electronics obsolete before you even plug them in? Or tens of thousands of dollars of timeshare regret? That's what you get when you're stuck with a timeshare agreement you don't want anymore. We're the Timeshare Exit Attorneys, the leaders in helping folks get out of timeshares and erasing regret. See if you qualify. For valuable free information, call 1-800-500-1967. Maybe you made an impulse buy that has become a financial burden you can no longer afford. Maybe you don't use the timeshare enough to make it worthwhile. Maybe you were pressured by a timeshare salesperson into making a bad decision. Now you want out because your timeshare isn't a fun escape, it's a waste of your money. With decades of experience, we're your #1 trusted option with fast, professional service. No middlemen, no cutting corners, no more timeshare regrets. See if you qualify. For valuable free information, call 1-800-500-1967. That's 1-800-500-1967.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friends at Good Feet. So the topic is foot pain, but it can be much more than that. Heel pain, hip pain, back pain, knee pain, it's all interconnected, and you get the arch support situation fixed, and you are walking and working and living and traveling pain-free. GoodFeetDFW.com to learn more. GoodFeetDFW.com. Our shoes don't always have the right amount of arch support, so you go to Good Feet, get the arch support, get the inserts to slide into your shoes, and men, women, comfy shoes, athletic shoes, dress shoes, high heels, they all feel so much better. You will love it. You'll live the life you love with the help of Good Feet. GoodFeetDFW.com. GoodFeetDFW.com. They are in Plano. They are in Southlake. They are in Fort Worth. Southlake's open noon to 5 on Sundays. So learn more at GoodFeetDFW.com. goodfeetdfw.com. 20 years of experience helping your feet feel better. Goodfeetdfw.com. Plano, Fort Worth, Southlake, goodfeetdfw.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he said, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free, and we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code 660AM.
A CNN original series.
Stop doubting and believe.
An epic saga from the dawn of history.
Behold, the man.
A miraculous journey that changed the world.
I will lay down my life for you. Whoever lives by believing in me will never die.
The greatest story ever told.
I believe you are the Son of God.
Finding Jesus. New season starts Sunday at 9 Eastern and Pacific on CNN.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Only for Texas. This is The Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Telephone number 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Let's see. John Wiley Price is currently on trial for federal crimes that are alleged against him. Testimony, according to Kevin Krause, the federal court's reporter, said that John Wiley Price received a steady stream of cash, checks, and bank transfers over the years from a lobbyist who allegedly bribed him for actions he took on behalf of their corporate clients. This, according to an FBI forensic accountant, during testimony today. Price, a powerful Dallas County commissioner who has served 3 decades in office, deposited some of that money into an account he set up in the name of his elderly mother, said David Garcia, the FBI accountant, who is a witness for the prosecution. But Willie Fay Price, who died at age 87 in 2010, did not receive any of the money, prosecutors said. Price used that account to pay his mortgage, credit cards, and other general expenses. And so we're watching that. We'll keep our eyes on John Wiley Price and see if this is the case that it can be proved by the federal government. Coming up next, a change in civilian control of the military. Can that possibly be the case? Next on the Wells Report.
Dennis Prager believes Israel is in a unique position in more ways than one.
The anti-Israel hatred at the UN is unique. More resolutions passed against Israel than against all other entities combined. In the Middle East, Israel is supposed to make peace with people who want it destroyed. Isn't that something? What exactly do we talk about?
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at noon, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Simple Sleep, inviting you to make 2017 the year for a healthier you with healthier sleep. Snoring is not just evidence that, hey, you're really sleeping soundly. It is evidence that there's something the matter. It's an interruption. Sleep apnea is a barrier to the proper amount of air, oxygen, getting to your heart, getting to your bloodstream. Let's fix this. Surgery will fix it, but who wants surgery? CPAP device, big old helmet and hose. Now keep going. Simple Sleep Services offers the best way. The Somnodent device. It's what they did for me. Simple oral appliance. You pop it in, kiss your wife goodnight, and boom, silent night, even when it's not Christmas. No CPAP, no surgery, just simple sleep. Great people to deal with. Insurance covers it. Dallas and Fort Worth. Let's call them. 469-685-1700. 469-685-1700. If you don't want surgery and the CPAP thing's a deal breaker, 469-685-1700 or simplesleepservices.com.
If you're retired or retiring soon and wonder if you have enough money to retire on, how will you make your money last? When you should take Social Security, if you have the best retirement plan for your needs. You cannot afford to miss this special edition free Money Matters Retirement Seminar. 7 p.m. Tuesday, March 7th, Hilton Garden Inn, Fort Worth Medical District, 1 p.m. or 7 p.m. Thursday, March 9th in Plano. Get answers to your questions and so much more. Reserve at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net or call 800-994-0302.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Dennison. White House lawyers are instructing the president's aides to preserve materials that could be connected to Russian interference in the election. The Senate Intelligence Committee is also asking several organizations, agencies, and individuals to preserve relevant documents. Meantime, the Washington Post reports Attorney General Jeff Sessions, while still in the Senate, contacted the Russian ambassador twice during the campaign. Former Montana Congressman Ryan Zinke is the nation's new Secretary of the Interior Department. He was sworn in shortly after his Senate confirmation.
The nomination is confirmed.
Zinke now assumes oversight of 400 million acres of public land. Cleanup efforts continue after a series of deadly tornadoes slammed the Midwest. More than 50 homes were destroyed in Ottawa, Illinois, including this man's.
Get ready to rebuild and be done with it.
One person was killed in Ottawa, another in southeastern Illinois, and a third in Missouri. Fox News, we report, you decide.
660 AM, The Answer.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. So, how's the Trump presidency working out for everybody so far?
Every presidency gets a first wave of serious reviews after the first 100 days, so we thought we would do that at a great event. And you're invited. Hi, I'm John David Wells, and we want to welcome you to President Trump, the first 100 days.
Brought to you by Southwest Office Systems and 660 AM The Answer, Tuesday night, April 18th, the Eisman Center in Richardson. JD and I welcome our network buddy Mike Gallagher and special guest Senator Ted Cruz.
Tickets start at just $19, backstage VIP at $135.
Tickets on sale now at 660amtheanswer.com. We'll be looking for you Tuesday, April 18th at the Eisman Center in Richardson.
President Trump, the first 100 days. Join Mark Davis and me, John David Wells, along with Mike Gallagher and Senator Ted Cruz. Get your tickets right now at 660amtheanswer.com.
660 AM The Answer and Southwest Office Systems present President Trump, the first 100 days, made possible by our national tour sponsor, MyPillow. Visit MyPillow.com and type in discount code 100 days to buy the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own.
I want to tell you about Charles Parrish. Every day, people call Charles with real estate they want to sell. When Charles makes an offer to purchase your real estate, there are no commissions or settlement costs, and he pays all cash. If you have real estate to sell, city or county, commercial or residential, raw land or non-conforming, virtually any kind of real estate, Charles wants to make an offer. A family business for over 40 years, his goal is to make a small profit. He's a principal buyer with a reputation for honesty and fair prices. Call Charles today about your property. Log on to charlesparish.com. That's spelled Parrish, Parrish with 2 R's. Or call Charles Parrish at 1-866-474-7000. Get rid of real estate you don't want and get the cash you need. Call Charles Parrish today with details of your real estate. 1-866-474-7000.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling. When you're looking for a company to install new windows in your home, you need to understand the difference between years of experience and years in business. Many companies talk about how many years of experience they have, but that does not necessarily make them a good fit for your project. The term years of experience tells me they've been doing something for a period of time, but not necessarily successfully. The more years a company has been in business will tell you they're an organization who takes care of their customers, because if they didn't, they could not survive in a competitive market. I'm happy to say Statewide Remodeling has been in business for over 22 years, and as to experience, we have installed over 120,000 windows in Texas. We offer a workmanship guarantee for as long as you own your home, and a satisfaction guarantee your money back. All that's in writing. So if you're ready to get straight talk about new windows for your home, give us a call. The estimate and window evaluation are free. And if you decide to purchase, you'll receive 20% off your project. And while supplies last, I'll throw in a Yeti Tundra 35 ice chest. Call 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. I've told you a lot over the years about the life-saving information I've gotten from my friends at Viascan of Las Colinas. I want you to hear another Viascan success story from Chuck.
This is Chuck Prince. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I had heard your ads about Viascan. We did the full body scan, said, you have a mass here that you need to get checked out. Went back and see the doctor, and he said that I had kidney cancer. Did have the surgery. I'm now 5 years cancer-free. I owe it all to Viascan for finding that.
Isn't that great? And this is what I've had happen to me at Viascan of Las Colinas. I learn a lot. I stay healthier longer. Viascan of Las Colinas with the following great deal: heart scan and body scan. $695. It's thousands at local hospitals. $695 for a heart scan that'll see plaques and blockages in your heart, and a body scan that'll see if you got any little cancer setting up shop in places you don't want. 972-739-2840. 972-739-2840. Or just Google Viascan.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Text the word trial to 303030, and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. And here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text trial to 303030 and get started for free right now. Again, text trial to 303030.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. I am reasonably sure that during the Second World War, Dwight David Eisenhower, the Supreme Allied Commander, was someone who, while he was up to date with all the operations that were occurring under his command, I am reasonably sure that he didn't necessarily approve each and every single one of those attacks. There's just too much war there. When we moved forward into the Vietnam War, what ended up happening was that politicians began to experiment with the way the United States fought war, which was disastrous. It was horrendous. It was a complete, and it was just stupid, because what you ended up with is you ended up with rifles that weren't ready to go out into the field. And you ended up with lots of things that cost the lives of Americans that is just inexcusable. It's one thing to send soldiers out to do the bidding of the country that you happen to be a part of. It's another thing to do it in a way to essentially experiment with their lives to see if a rifle's going to work. Eugene Stoner may be a genius, but that M16A1, no, was not a winner chicken dinner. I'm just saying. But the simple case of the matter is that everything having to do with that war went through the Oval Office at the White House with disastrous results. Military commanders are now discussing speeding up the authorization of counterterrorism missions by allowing the Pentagon or even field commanders to approve some of them rather than the White House. So what happens? So how does this work? Well, as CNN first reported yesterday, the military is seeking to increase U.S. intelligence gathering raids in Yemen, similar to one undertaken in the first week of the Trump presidency. It's not yet clear if this adjustment in the approval process could be used for those operations. In other words, instead of a full-scale attack, one army against another, et cetera, this would be a mission that would be, for all intents and purposes, a recon mission, a reconnaissance mission. It's a philosophy more than a change in policy, said White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. President Donald Trump believes that these are the experts in the field. At the same time, Spicer said the protocol is not changing in terms of what has to be signed off on. There are certain decisions that have to be signed off by the president, so the degree of change might not end to being that sizable. This is basically a trial balloon. If you don't know what a trial balloon is, someone will say something to float out there to see what people respond to it with, to determine whether or not they're actually doing something that's smart. I'm not exactly sure that local commanders should be able to, on their own personal authority, get involved in a battalion-sized, division-sized engagement with the enemy without somebody signing off on it. So I'm assuming that this is probably more just philosophy than actual reality, which is, I think that's probably what we're doing here. But military commanders need to be able to take advantage of what's called an object or a target of opportunity. You know, you spend some time watching a particular compound in the middle of nowhere, and then they do something that allows you to breach the walls in a surreptitious fashion. You don't have time to go to the president, get his signature, and then go to this and that and so on and so forth. Go through all the command processes you need. You don't want to go through all that. You just want to be able to assign soldiers to the mission and say, go. A senior defense official emphasized this does not mean that the president would not be briefed. Defense Secretary James Mattis, senior military commanders could brief the president at any time and seek his specific approval. Since these are fundamental questions of judgment, the senior defense official said, the goal is to see if there could be more efficient approval processes for time-sensitive missions. Military analysts warn, though, that pushing decision-making authority below the president for high-risk missions could create problems. Yes, it could. Yes, it could. You'd have to do the right thing because it was the right thing. It'd have to be obvious. The problem with it is that it's not always obvious. I guarantee you that if this had been in place, if this policy had been in place, the Benghazi incident would have been something completely different than what it turned out to be. Because the local commanders would have sent their troops. They wouldn't have waited. They would have just done it. Now, since we don't know exactly why that particular mission was that particular mission, since we don't know exactly why that's the case, you might be blundering into something that is a real mess. Not that Benghazi wasn't. The risk in greenlighting missions at a lower level than the president is one where the president assumes all the responsibility if something goes wrong. He is, after all, the commander in chief. He would really find it difficult to do that, in fact, if he was not a part of the approval process, said retired Colonel Cedric Layton. That element of decentralized control, which the military loves in many cases, and in theory the president loves, but the problem is that you have with that is if something goes terribly wrong, you're going to end up with a lot of political fallout for something that you didn't really approve or understand the basis, the minute details of. He continued, from a political standpoint, it may be good for somebody who wants to wash their hands of it or something, but from a military standpoint, it really abrogates the authority that the commander-in-chief has inherent in his position. Yeah, this isn't going to go anywhere. Yeah, you can't really do that. You got to pretty much put this in place. You know, you got to make sure that you have the right commanders. And when something is hitting the fan, you got to be able to make a decision. Eight 6605759 is our telephone number. What do you think about this? I think this would be a mistake. I think that the commander-in-chief would say, hey, look, if you get into a situation where, and I would reference Benghazi, if you get into a situation where a State Department official is under attack, you do what you think you have to do to get that guy saved, and I'll back you up 100%. But you got to have CENTCOM mission. You know, your commanders can't just be guys that you pass in the hallway on a tour in the Pentagon. I mean, if you're going to do that, you need to get all the military commanders of CENTCOM, NORTHCOM, SOUTHCOM, all of them. You need to get them all together, and you need to get to know them. Take them out to Camp David. Play golf with them. Find out what makes them tick. You can do that. You can do that. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Several defense officials told CNN that President Barack Obama was very cautious about these kinds of missions and wanted in many cases to be able to review and approve them. Yeah, doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, there are a couple of words that describe that. Control freak leaps to mind. But what do you think? Should our military commanders be able to jump into the fray in one of those really bad situations that you never ever want to deal with? When things have truly when the ship has hit the sand and you really have to make a decision right this very minute? The more I know about Benghazi, the more I do research into that. It's amazing that anybody survived it. It's absolutely amazing that anybody survived. But there were so many people that would have done things. So many people that could have gotten on scene and done the right thing. (866-660-5759). Pentagon looking at figuring out some way to be able to approve some raids without the White House knowing about it. I don't know how the commander-in-chief can be left out of a bunch of things. So this might be, one of those things that requires a specific set of guidelines. So in other words, what you're doing is you're exchanging the the approval on the fly with approval ahead of time. But approval is still given by the president. 866-660-5759. I just thought of a good example of how that could happen, and I'll show you what that is next on the Wells Report. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Should the military be able to act without the expressed written consent of the President of the United States? Yes or no, and why? Tell me next. This is the Wells Report.
After my pregnancy, I started getting spider and bulging veins in my legs. For years, I'd watched my mom suffer with painful, knotty varicose veins, but she was too embarrassed to do anything. I love my mom and my legs, so I decided to take us both to Vein Clinics of America.
The caring professionals at Vein Clinics of America have performed over 1 million procedures, making them the largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as 1 hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by insurance.
Vein Clinics of America doctors are amazing. I got my beautiful legs back. Mom?
Thank you, honey. My legs are pain-free for the first time in years. I can wear dresses again.
Start the new year right by getting your beautiful legs back. Call to schedule a free fast-track consultation with one of our doctors. 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code 660AM.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head dealing with monthly payments, there's a powerful secret that credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt and make your monthly payment affordable. To see how much you could save, call now, 1-800-700-3515. Don't declare bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Credit Associates. Live better debt-free. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Credit Associates now and see how much money you could save for free. Call 1-800-700-3515. That's 1-800-700-3515.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800 1-800-500-0898. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-500-0898. That's 1-800-500-0898. 1-800-500-0898.
Compassion International presents the Rock and Worship Roadshow featuring Stephen Curtis Chapman. Along with Francesca Battistelli. And Ren Collective. Plus Passion, Family Force 5, and Jordan Feliz. And the Roadshow's pre-show party with Derek Miner and Urban Rescue. Sunday, March 26th, 6 p.m. at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. Tickets are $15.50 for reserved seating, $55 VIP, and $100 for VIP Plus. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com or the AAC box office. Christian music's most entertaining concert series for the whole family. The Rock and Worship Roadshow. Sunday, March 26th, 6 p.m. at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. Welcomed by 94.9 KLTY. More info at theroadshowtour.com.
If you've got questions, we've got answers. 660 AM. The Answer. Now, the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Telephone number 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Military commanders are trying to figure out how to speed up the authorization of counterterrorism missions. These things appear and disappear very quickly. The way to do that is to create a protocol that allows the President of the United States to approve them ahead of time. And that's something that they can do. But when it comes right down to all this, you know, you've got to be willing to trust your commanders. But is that possible? You know, for example, in the case of Donald Trump, what if the commander that you are trusting is a solid devotee of President Obama? Now, I'm not saying that that would be the case, because it would be so unprofessional as to really, it would be a big problem. Eight 660-5759. Should the military to be able to execute missions without the expressed written consent of the commander-in-chief? 866-660-5759. I don't think so. He's got to be in the loop. He absolutely has to be in the loop. There are too many opportunities for mischief. Just too many circumstances. I'll give you another example. Here's an example of why you should have your local commanders with more control. We knew where Osama bin Laden was for about a year before we attacked him. That was a gigantic risk taken by the President of the United States. A gigantic risk that somebody inside the government or not would tip Osama bin Laden into realizing that, yeah, there's there's a SEAL team that's got him in crosshairs and they're on the way. Fortunately, it didn't happen. Everything worked out okay. We got our man. Okay. There's that. But I'm just saying that local commanders would have been able to make that happen a lot sooner. I just get queasy about all this. I just do. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. And there's also something else. You know, the current inhabitants of these high offices, James Mattis, even Donald Trump, the military commanders of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, all those guys, pretty good guys. Pretty good guys. But you just don't want to be blindsided if you're the president of the United States. What if you actually have to explain just what happened? The last thing you want to do is get up on national television and say, I really don't know. This is the Wells Report. Back with more in a moment.
Hugh Hewitt explains the two sides of Obamacare.
The reality of Obamacare is there are two Obamacares. There is the Obamacare that has saved lives undeniably. If some people didn't have Obamacare, they'd be dead today. But then there's the other Obamacare, the one that has failed 85 to 90% of the country with deductibles they can't afford and premiums they cannot pay, for doctors they cannot find, and plans that have disappeared.
The Hugh Hewitt Show, weekday mornings at 5, right before Mark Davis at 7 on 660 AM. The Answer.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
At Simple Sleep Services, we believe the best way to treat the serious medical condition of sleep apnea is the easy way. Our team of doctors are experts in providing the least invasive treatment for snoring and sleep apnea, a custom-fit, comfortable solution that you simply pop in before bed each night and wake up feeling refreshed. And it's covered by medical insurance. You don't have to endure the cumbersome CPAP mask or go through the pain and downtime of surgery or implants. We are the most experienced team in the nation providing our treatment. Your diagnosis will be from a board-certified sleep physician using today's latest technology. Let us start you down the path of a restful night's sleep. Visit simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700. Treat your sleep apnea and snoring the simple way. No CPAP, no surgery, no implants, just simple sleep. Go to simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700. Don't spend another night on the couch or sleeping alone. simplesleepservices.com.
Warning, if you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears because there's an alternative to bankruptcy and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now. 1-800-600-3018. That's 1-800-600-3018. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-600-3018. 1-800-600-3018. 1-800-600-3018.
If you're a business owner, I want you to imagine standing on home plate in front of a sold-out crowd of 50,000 raving fans at a professional baseball game. They give you the microphone and you have 60 seconds to tell the crowd why they should do business with you. Out of 50,000 people, do you think you might get some new customers? Sure you would. Now imagine you could do that in front of 4 sold-out baseball games. That's 200,000 people. Did you know that's how many people listen to 660 AM The Answer every week? And you have the opportunity to stand in front of the 660 AM The Answer microphone and get 60 seconds to tell our raving fans all about your business. You think you'd get new customers if you did that? You bet. The businesses you hear on 660 AM The Answer are knocking it out of the park with new customers. If you're open to seeing how much it costs to advertise your business on 660 AM The Answer, send an email request to advertise@ksky.com. That's advertise@ksky.com. Let's play ball.
We are visiting our friend Chef Tom Fleming at Crossroads Diner. What do you have cooking today, Tom?
We've talked before, and it's great to talk to you again. Let me ask you a question. When you're going to those other breakfast places, are they making stuff in-house? You should ask them. Because at the Crossroads Diner, well, we make a lot of things in-house. You might ask, what? Well, let me help you. Well, there's the sticky buns, our homemade pancake mix, our whole wheat pancake mix, biscuits made in-house, sauces made from scratch, jams and jellies, our chorizo, Italian sausage, our quiche. I could go on and on. But really, you just need to ask the other guys, are they doing that? Because I don't think they are, but know that we are.
Crossroads Diner. Come eat with them at their new location, now at the corner of Preston and Campbell in the Kroger Shopping Center. Open for breakfast and lunch, Tuesday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Or visit them on the web at crossroads-diner.com. Home-style goodness meets traditional diner. Great recipes, fresh ingredients, comfortable environment, and genuine hospitality are the heart and soul of Crossroads Diner. They'll be waiting for you.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. The Wells Report with John David Wells. Must Hear Radio on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. Mark Davis is going to show up tomorrow morning. It'll be Thursday. Thursday morning, Mark Davis will appear. Mark, what have you got planned for us? Tell us.
Hey, JD, good Wednesday night. 24 hours later, the speech is still great, isn't it? I revisit it, and it just gets better every time. Now, the question arises, did the Trump speech change everything? Well, it's an interesting question. Nothing changed from my view. His agenda is still great. The energy is inspiring. Here's what's different. The left now knows the deep skill set this president brings to the table, and I can smell their fear. So we got 2 shows tomorrow. Loving that, our usual 7:10 in the morning, and I'm doing Dennis Prager for one more day this week. That's noon to 2. So see y'all in the morning and the afternoon on 660 AM, The Answer.
Outstanding. You know me. I've been keeping track of the important things. This radio broadcast is about news. It's about analysis. It's about getting the truth out there. There are parts of what we do that also involve us being sentinels after a time. We keep our eyes on certain things that are concerning, at least are concerning to me. What I'm talking about is I talk about like technology. Keep my eyes on technology. I want technology to work for us, not against us. And when it comes to technology in the United States and around the world, it's getting mighty exciting. One of the things that I've been looking at for quite some time has to do with something I ran across in the 70s. And it was the first Viking mission. The Viking mission used something called artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence was necessary in that mission because the mission planners and controllers at the Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena, JPL, really did not know what that aircraft, what that spacecraft was going to encounter. And they wanted it to make autonomous decisions. Yeah. That was in the 70s. It worked beautifully. As you know, the Viking missions were very successful. They decided to stop using that artificial intelligence and crashed a bunch of missions in a row. So much for better, cheaper, faster. But that ball keeps on bouncing. That ball of artificial intelligence just keeps on bouncing. And so far, artificial intelligence has been used to, well, just keep the ball bouncing. If you got a drone flying a particular racetrack pattern out in the middle of nowhere, you put it on artificial intelligence, and it turns on a different set of sensors and flies around. And if a bird gets in the way, it takes some automatic evasive action and little things like that. So what you can do is you can get up from your console at Nellis Air Force Base and go to the DFAC, the dining facility, and get yourself some grade A super good chow. And then come back and find that the machine is still flying up there without any problems whatsoever. Drone's going along just fine. Everybody's fine. You don't have to take control. It's like an autopilot on acid. And I don't know whether you've seen this or not, but have you seen this machine that DARPA has been working on for, I don't know, at least 10 years? It's a pack mule. It's got 4 legs, no head, and it carries something like 500 pounds. And it walks pretty much like a dog or a goat or a burro. And if you push it to try to knock it off balance, it will recover using that artificial intelligence, doing whatever it has to do to be able to keep the center of gravity in the right spot. But the ball keeps on bouncing. Representative Mike Conaway of Texas asked a panel of cyber experts just how long it was going to be before American soldiers were up against artificial intelligence on the battlefield. There's a great scene in the movie The Imitation Game where the actor Benedict Cumberbatch perfectly explains the difference between the way machines think and the way human beings think. The Turing test, which is also known as the Imitation Game, is a question and answer game designed to determine whether or not the judge who's asking the questions is talking to a machine or a human being. They use these tests to this day. Deep Blue was one of the big supercomputers that interacted with human beings. They played chess. And I've played chess with various computers. And you don't play chess the same way with a machine that you do with a human being. To win a chess game with a machine, really all you have to do is get it out of its pre-programmed tendencies and keep it reacting to you. It doesn't have to, your moves don't have to make sense per se. You just have to get the machine to do something that you want it to do instead of it doing something that it wants to do. Likewise, if you play its game, if you allow the machine to take the initiative, you're going to lose. But what if you're up against some machine that is a killing machine that roams the battlefield in search of infantry soldiers that don't have the proper identification friend or foe code, which is something that jets have had for decades, about half a century now. When a Sidewinder missile flies at an American aircraft, the Sidewinder goes, "Hey, are you my buddy?" And the aircraft says, "Hey, I'm your buddy." And so the rocket will not zero in on one of your own. But these artificial soldiers with artificial mentalities would not attack you like a human being would. Think about the implications of that. Think about something that has about your same brain power, but thinks hundreds of times faster than you. It has roughly the same sensory capability you do, but like I said, it will attack differently. It has different physical attributes. It can do things that human beings can't do. Given enough time, you could figure out how a machine like that might come at you. But then again, with artificial intelligence, you could program in the idea that you need to change the way you attack every time you attack. So there would be no way for any commander in the battlefield to be able to develop tendencies on how this machine would attack you. There's been a lot of speculation about how soon it will be before robotic soldiers take the place of the fight in the kinetic world. How soon will artificial intelligence supplant the need for human beings to be able to defend these networks, and what do we do? Peter Singer, a strategist at the New America Foundation, said that artificial intelligence is among potential disruptions being developed in the realm of cyber conflict. It's not just when it's going to happen. We don't know. We don't yet know. Is it going to privilege the offense or defense? What are going to be the effects of it? And then he suggested that there be a classified briefing for Congress. Yeah. We don't want to fall behind in the use of artificial intelligence in battlefield weapons. Healy expressed concerns about the possibility of artificial intelligence augmenting our adversaries' offensive capabilities more significantly than the U.S. defense of critical infrastructure. The part of it that particularly worries me the most is that on the defensive side, many people are thinking that artificial intelligence, new heuristics, better analytics, and automation are going to help the defense. That if only we can roll these things out faster, we'll be better and the system will be more stable. I think that these technologies are going to aid the offense much more than it aids the defense, because to defend against these kinds of attacks, you need your own supercomputer. You're beginning to touch on the reality of it all. The reason that artificial intelligence would be used in offense is because it's easier. Offense is easier. You dictate the initiative. You catch the enemy force in a particular circumstance that you can exploit. If you know your capabilities very, very well, and you catch your enemy in a bad spot, then you'll win. Likewise, if you know your enemy very, very well, you never have to worry about being defeated in battle. But how do you take an organic brain up against artificial intelligence? And because offense is easier than defense, it means that what has to happen is that we, the people of the United States, must first involve NATO, and then the rest of the world in treaties, worldwide treaties that forbid machines, contrivances of man, or contrivances of other machines to be able to take the life of or otherwise damage a human being. We are at that point in the development of the human condition that to do otherwise, to not stop this level of development without certain treaty obligations and rules, would be suicidal. This is the Wells Report.
Fruits and vegetables in capsules? Really? Let me get this straight. Over 10 servings of 31 different 100% pure fruits and veggies every day. No fillers, no additives. In vegetarian capsules costing about 20 cents per serving. Do you want to know more? And why wouldn't you? Tune in this Saturday at 2 p.m. for the Balance of Nature Show. Everything you need to know in a capsule. That's this Saturday at 2 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer. Get your family and friends together. You don't want to miss this one.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. So, how's the Trump presidency working out for everybody so far?
Every presidency gets a first wave of serious reviews after the first 100 days, so we thought we would do that at a great event. And you're invited. Hi, I'm John David Wells, and we want to welcome you to President Trump, the first 100 days.
Brought to you by Southwest Office Systems and 660 AM The Answer, Tuesday night, April 18th, the Eisenman Center in Richardson. JD and I welcome our network buddy Mike Gallagher and special guest Senator Ted Cruz.
Tickets start at just $19, backstage VIP at $135.
Tickets on sale now at 660amtheanswer.com. We'll be looking for you Tuesday, April 18th at the Eisenman Center in Richardson.
President Trump, the first 100 days. Join Mark Davis and me, John David Wells, along with Mike Gallagher and Senator Ted Cruz. Get your tickets right now at 660amtheanswer.com.
660 AM The Answer and Southwest Office Systems present President Trump, the first 100 days, made possible by our national tour sponsor, MyPillow. Visit MyPillow.com and type in discount code 100 days to buy the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own.
This is Michael Medved for townhall.com. Even as harshest critics recognize President Trump's habit of turning obstacles into advantages. In the primary campaign, the fact that 17 well-qualified Republicans ran against him was supposed to make his victory impossible, but it served to divide more cautious mainstream voters while giving Trump an unbeatable edge among all those who hoped a non-politician might deliver dramatic change. Similarly, the fact that pre-inaugural polls showed only a minority with high expectations for Trump's White House could easily work to the new president's advantage. Barack Obama had an approval rating of 81% when he took over the presidency, so there was nowhere to go but down, and he lost Congress in a landslide 2 years later. For Trump, media skepticism about his abilities leaves him nowhere to go but up. And even modest success in achieving some of his initial goals should allow him to exceed expectations and build critical momentum. I'm Michael Medved.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt?
Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
The tech show's on this month. I was thinking of looking at home security systems.
Oh, cool. I'll go with you. We're looking for more home security ideas, too. That's why I called Budget Blinds.
Budget Blinds?
Look at this.
A remote for the blinds.
Yep, motorized.
Okay, well, that's beyond cool. I love it. But what does it have to do with home security?
Oh, they also come with a timer. The blinds and drapes open themselves in the morning, close in the evening.
Oh, so it looks like somebody's home even when you're not.
Exactly, and I saved a bunch of money. Sally saved a bunch of money.
But you'll take the credit.
Yeah.
My brother, the tech genius.
Thanks, man.
Now give me that remote.
Budget Blinds motorized window coverings are the ultimate in luxury, and during the Luxury Within Reach event, they're even more affordable. The more you buy, the more you save, with savings up to $2,000. Hurry and call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS now before this offer ends, or go online to budgetblinds.com. Don't miss out. Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS now. Offer good on select products at participating independently owned and operated franchises. Restrictions may apply. Ask for details.
A reminder, we have a free Money Matters Retirement Seminar, 7 p.m. Tuesday, March 7th, Hilton Garden Inn, Fort Worth Medical District, or Thursday, March 9th in the Money Matters Building, Plano. Find out if you have enough money to retire on. Learn what you can do to build a solid financial plan for your retirement cash flow. The best time to take Social Security. 5 strategies to help you save on income taxes. How to help make your savings last, and more. Reserve at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net. Or call 800-994-0302. Again, 800-994-0302.
You can listen on the go. Find us on iHeartRadio. 660 AM. The Answer. The Wells Report is on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Telephone number 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759.
Let's go.
Representative Mac Thornberry, who chairs the House Armed Services Committee, suggested that while the U.S. might soon develop some capabilities using artificial intelligence, the government might not have sufficient policies in place to control how it uses them. It seems to me that we've always been a lot better at developing technologies than we were the policies on how to use them. That's true. By the way, that takes us back to another discussion we were having earlier this hour when we were talking about military officers being able to use certain weapons and so on and so forth. The President of the United States, Harry Truman, did not give approval for the first bomb to be dropped, the first nuclear weapon to be used in war, which I think is spooky. So what we've got here is we've got a brand new world, and we'll see how it works. I just hope we survive the encounter. The executive producer of the Wells Report is Vicki Steifer. Technical director, conductor of the Wells Report Orchestra is Magic Matt Swinney. My name is John David Wells. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Wells Report. I certainly hope that we'll be able to convene again tomorrow for another one here on 660 AM The Answer.
Tune in Sundays at noon for the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Join us each Sunday when we discuss the principles and practices of the successful real estate investor. We bring you experts to answer your questions on how to use real estate to build wealth and passive realized monthly income, and teach you the ins and outs of investing in real estate. So tune in Sundays at noon, right here for the Lifestyle Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Join us for the Real Investor Radio Show right here on 660 AM The Answer.
High-tech bath remodeling? You're kidding, right? No, I'm not kidding.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzari, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling. You know, we remodel over 200 bathrooms a month, and our customers know the difference from what we do and what other companies don't. Problem for the old companies offering bathroom remodeling is they're doing it the same way they've done it forever. Is there anybody listening who thinks construction is not advanced in the last 10 years? Take it from me, after 22 years in business, I've seen many things change. From the substrate materials that eliminate leaks to the adhesives that are used to secure the products to the wall and foundation, and even the grout that's virtually mold and mildew proof. When you get a bathroom remodel from Statewide, this isn't the same one your mom and dad got back in the day. So why take a chance with the other guys who are doing it the old way? We offer a workmanship guarantee for as long as you own your home and a no-leak warranty that's the longest in the industry. And if you call now, you get 20% off. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. Call now.
For 37 years, Abrams Royal Pharmacy has helped many people improve their health. Working as a trusted partner with physicians and patients, we have developed targeted treatment plans and customized wellness programs to meet each patient's unique needs and providing proactive solutions for health and wellness. Abrams Royal Pharmacy has grown to become one of the largest, most innovative, and trusted pharmacies in the U.S. because we spend time listening to our patients and offering wellness consultations with our natural-minded pharmacists. Abrams Royal Pharmacy is located at 8220 Abrams Road in Dallas and 4909 West Park Boulevard in Plano. For more information or to schedule a wellness appointment with natural-minded pharmacist Lark Swafford or Cody Trish, call 214-349-8000 or visit arp-rx.com. That's 214-349-8000 or arp-rx.com. Get healthy, stay healthy, naturally with Abrams Royal Pharmacy. Call 214-349-8000 or visit arp-rx.com.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM. KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Dennison. Several Democrats calling for Attorney General Jeff Sessions to resign following a Washington Post report that as a U.S. Senator, Sessions was in contact with the Russian ambassador during the presidential campaign. Sessions testified under oath that he had no such contact. The number of American troops fighting ISIS is expected to remain the same.
The top U.S. commander fighting ISIS says don't expect a large increase of American troops arriving in Syria or Iraq anytime soon.
I don't foresee us bringing in large numbers of coalition troops, mainly because what we're doing is, in fact, working.
Lieutenant General Stephen Townsend briefed Pentagon reporters Wednesday from his headquarters in Baghdad. Currently, there are roughly 6,000 U.S. troops in Iraq and 500 in Syria.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. The rally continues on Wall Street. On Wednesday, the Dow closed above 21,000 for the first time. Fox News. We report, you decide.
This is 660 AM, The Answer.
Hi, this is Debbie Georgatos. This Sunday on my show, we're starting the once-a-month Millennial Roundtable Sunday. Grant Wolf and Drew Wicker, the leadership team at SMU's Young Americas Foundation, will join me, along with Jim Graham, president of the Texas Right to Life. Tune in to America Can We Talk Sunday 6 to 8 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer, live on the America Can We Talk Facebook page or online at americacanwetalk.org. We talk truth about America and why it matters to you.
Everyone has at least one great idea. Learn what to do with it and how to do it by listening to Idea Shares Radio every Sunday at 8 p.m. Idea Shares Radio is the show for entrepreneurs, inventors, and innovators. Your co-hosts, Brian Church, CEO and best-selling author, and Les Stouter, entrepreneur and business expert, will help take your ideas from a napkin sketch to the marketplace and teach you how to protect your intellectual property. So tune in for Idea Shares every Sunday at 8 p.m. right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
This is Michael Medved for townhall.com. Even his harshest critics recognize President Trump's habit of turning obstacles into advantages. In the primary campaign, the fact that 17 well-qualified Republicans ran against him was supposed to make his victory impossible, but it served to divide more cautious mainstream voters while giving Trump an unbeatable edge among all those who hoped a non-politician might deliver dramatic change. Similarly, the fact that pre-inaugural polls showed only a minority with high expectations for Trump's White House could easily work to the new president's advantage. Barack Obama had an approval rating of 81% when he took over the presidency, so there was nowhere to go but down, and he lost Congress in a landslide 2 years later. For Trump, Media skepticism about his abilities leaves him nowhere to go but up. And even modest success in achieving some of his initial goals should allow him to exceed expectations and build critical momentum. I'm Michael Medved.
Do you have low back or neck pain? Does it run down your arms or your legs? Do you have a bulging or herniated disc degeneration, or spinal arthritis? Even worse, have you been told you need back surgery or injections? If you answered yes, then please listen to what I have to say. My name is Dr. Chad Vines, DC, at Genesis Back and Neck, and I use the most advanced spinal decompression system available, the DRX 9000, to correct back problems just like yours. We don't use addictive drugs, and we don't use any type of dangerous invasive surgery for these problems. Spinal decompression is safe, FDA cleared, and it's not painful, and has about an 86% success rate. We accept most insurances, and your first visit will be at no charge. You will sit down and visit with me personally until I've answered all of your questions. And if you're a candidate for decompression, you can try out the treatment all at no charge to you. So if you're ready to not hurt anymore and don't want to have surgery, call me at 817-328-1922. That's 817-328-1922, or online at mylowback.com.
Good morning, Jane. Wow, you're glowing. You must have had a good night.
I had a great night. I slept with Somnipure.
Oh, is that the French guy in sales?
No, Somnipure is a non-prescription sleep aid. Remember how I couldn't sleep? I'd lay awake with my mind racing. Well, I heard an ad on the radio to try a free bottle of Somnipure, and my sleep has been amazing ever since.
Jane, you're sleeping with Somnipure? I'm also sleeping with Somnipure.